Hello, my dear audience. Today the point is prolonged aPTT, its causes, and a short explanation behind the causes. And before going to the main point, we should go through the short explanation of intrinsic and extrinsic, the two pathways of coagulation cascade. As we know, the extrinsic pathway starts from the tissue thromboplastin, and from the tissue thromboplastin, the factor 7 is activated. Activated factor 7 activate the factor 10, and from the factor 10, a prothrombin complex is actually formed. And from prothrombin complex, the common pathway starts. On the other hand, the intrinsic pathway actually starts from the tissue high molecular weight kininogen, and from the high molecular kininogen, factor serially factor 12 activated, then factor 11 activated, then factor 9 and 10 activated. And from these factor 8 and 9, the factor 10 become activated. And from factor 10, prothrombin complex formed, and this is the prothrombin complex, that is the main point of common pathway. That means the intrinsic pathway and extrinsic pathway come to the point of prothrombin complex, and from the point of prothrombin complex, thrombin form, then fibrin form, fibrin become polymerized, that is clot form. Now, aPTT prolonged, that means the problem with the intrinsic pathway. So, what is the problem with the prolonged aPTT? You should understand what is the problem, or what are the problem with the prolonged aPTT. If any patient come to you with the prolonged aPTT, you should understand that there may be one of the two problem. Number one problem, there may be factor deficiency, or number two, there is no factor deficiency but something wrong with the patient's plasma when there is some protein that act as an inhibitor that inhibit the normal level of coagulation factor in the intrinsic pathway. I repeat again, if there is any case of prolonged aPTT, there may be factor deficiency, number one, and there may be no factor deficiency but any protein acting as inhibitor that inhibit the normal level of coagulation factor in the intrinsic pathway. Now, factor deficiency. The factor deficiency mainly we know this disease hemophilia. In hemophilia, factor 8, that is hemophilia A, and factor 9, that is hemophilia B, become deficient, and it is a X-linked recessive disorder. So due to deficiency of factor 8 or factor 9, that is the hemophilia, aPTT goes up. The problem with this disease, von Willebrand disease, very difficult. It is very easy to understand but very difficult to memorize, very difficult to keep in your mind for a longer duration. Easy to forget actually, as I think, easy to forget. Actually, what's the problem with this von Willebrand disease? In von Willebrand disease, the problem with the von Willebrand factor become deficient in or absent in von Willebrand disease. In von Willebrand factor is the factor, it is the protein on which actually the factor 8 or factor 9 binds. Okay, so if any patient suffer from von Willebrand disease, that means the patient's von Willebrand factor is deficient. That means the patient's factor 8 or factor 9 or both are deficient a little bit. Mind it, the hemophilia is a gross problem, is a severe problem, maybe severe problem, but von Willebrand disease is not a severe, rather it is a minor problem, patient present with minor bleeding manifestation, and on the other hand, in the hemophilia patient present major bleeding manifestation. So von Willebrand disease, in fact, prolonged aPTT due to factor deficiency, may be due to hemophilia or maybe due to von Willebrand disease. So when you going to assess a patient of hemophilia, you should assess that patient for von Willebrand factor, because that the patient who is supposed to be hemophilia A or hemophilia B, that patient may be von Willebrand disease. Mind it. And number two, the most important, the inhibitor. There may be something, some inhibitor protein acting as inhibitor that inhibit the factor acting in the intrinsic pathway. The clinical disease is antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. Sorry, in antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, actually what happened? In antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, as the name suggests, antibody is formed As the name suggests, antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, a antibody is formed against the phospholipid. In intrinsic pathway, the most important another point is the phospholipid that act as a cofactor in the intrinsic pathway. So, if any antibody is formed against the phospholipid, that phospholipid will not act normally for the cascade of intrinsic pathway. So, presence of this antibody against the phospholipid will increase the aPTT. So, this is all about the high level of aPTT. Mind it. Thank you.